we are going to do blue eye first. So, I'm going to go in, I'm going to pull out my cyan. When you're looking at an eye and you're thinking about coloring it, I'm going to use blue, but it doesn't matter which color you're going with. See that reflection right there? Let's call that, let's say it's light coming into the eye at its highest point, reflecting back at you, right? But let's also pretend and just say that this reflection goes into this eye, which is a sphere. This whole part is a sphere. It comes in, but then it comes out somewhere, you know? Let's say it comes out somewhere. So we want a really bright area somewhere. And let's keep that in mind as we're going here. So I'm gonna go around the perimeter of it and let's start getting blue. So we're gonna go into this dark area, and we're gonna start making it blue. Then we'll come in and we'll glaze. This is a very light blue, so we'll go ahead and glaze some in. We're not worrying about the forming any contour lines or anything. We'll do that in just a minute. Right in there. Let's go ahead and add some blue to it. Alright. And we'll just start picking out some of the more dynamic areas where there's some darker lines. And now we're going to worry about contour. Everything coming into this eye, especially from your horizontal, let's say, axis of the image, it's going to be more of a pulling in, rolling out. Everything comes from here up, let's say, curves around and then goes back into here, kind of like that. So that's kind of the shape. So you don't need every one to be that shape, but you really want to make a few. And right in front of you on these verticals, right in front of you, it's going to be more of a straight line anyway, because you're not really getting that. You're looking at the back of the line versus the side where it would curve. I'm going to add in a little more. Glaze in some more lines. Nothing real heavy. All right. And I'm going to run just a very light glaze right through here. I'm not worried about directions. There we go. I'm going to pick up a darker pencil. I'm going now to my electric blue. These are all Prismas. Hang out up here in this zone here. Kind of glaze some of this in from that. Anytime you put a darker color next to this little bright spot right here, you really brighten it up even more. That contrast is nice. So I'm just going to add some more. Now as I come around with this darker pencil, I'm going to stop short. Remember we said that light was coming out? I'm going to stop short of that, jump over it. Because remember, if you put this dark right next to something that's lighter, it pronounces, makes it a lot more bright. It makes it brighter right there. So I'm going to add a few contour lines now. They don't have to go, all of them don't have to go all the way up. They can just be flakes, you know? You can set up a few dark flakes. Like that. Probably come in and glaze a little bit more of this over that. At any point from here on, you could probably just stop and have this, you know, done. But I like to go in and add, you know, just something a little bit more to the eye here and there. You know, maybe a little, just a touch of that blue-green in there. You could even come in with a little bit of orange. Pop a little bit of that in there if you wanted to. Just to give it some dynamics. nothing heavy. Stay out of that light area. Now let's go right into that light area. Right now I'm going to just go ahead and glaze this white into our reflection. Then that's the entry, let's say. So here's our exit of this light. We want to take away that dark border that we have there. Kind of neutralize it a little bit. There we go. Let's let it play out of there. Let's lighten this area up a little bit. Get rid of that line. There we go. We can come now and just highlight a few little brighter spots if we want them. So you could do something like that. Now if you want to really shine it on a little bit, go and grab an even darker blue and get up here and hang out. And put a couple of flakes maybe out around in here. Get right up next to that light area too. There we go. Yeah. If we want to, we can go get like a cool gray and put some other. Yeah. There. So we kind of, you notice we kind of did it. Here. Kind of did it with our brain, not our finger, and our hand. You know, you think about it, think it through a little bit. What's going on? That light is one of the most important to me things about coloring. It's making sure you're representing it. And you don't have to do a full representation. Come in and make this look like it was done by a professional, which I'm not a professional, so probably never going to achieve that anyway. But if you just get these couple tricks, you know, and you're set. You can pull off. You can pull off what I call it a whammy. You can just knock it out of the park. And as far as the skill level you may be on, this is if you practice this right here, it should level you up a little bit. If you come in and now I'm going to take black, kind of darken up some areas up here, of course, where the shadow is, and I can almost see like from here over to there it's darker. So I can come in and kind of shade that a little bit, kind of darken that on up a little bit right there. Come in and find some different areas. Maybe even get up here and play around a little bit. Something like that. Some little dots and little this and that's. I'm trying to make too much out of it. You kind of glaze some white over everything just to give it that little bit more frosty look somewhere. Kind of knock down some of these darker lines that we did. Yeah. Come here and just kind of move that color around a little bit. So that would be an awesome eye, right? Probably pull that off in a couple minutes, right? I don't really like using pink around these areas. I really rather use the red. There's a little fun way to do eyes, And we're just gonna glaze out some skin tone around it. Because a lot of times it's the color of your eye kind of relies on some of these outer areas to give it that pizzazz, to make it pop. So we're just indicating a few places where there might be some skin tones here, Not really trying to get all artsy, just putting something out there, right? come in and glaze a little bit of this blue up into that orange. Cool it off. Don't be scared to cool off that eye, you know? Especially underneath it where there's, you know, this is kind of puffy. You can give it a little love with this blue. There we go. Maybe over here needs a little, this up here can handle some. There, let's just get on in there, you know? Let's come inside of here. Yeah. Let's glaze a little bit of that blue into the eye there, yeah. Maybe pull some from there. The white of the eye, it doesn't really get to be white too much. It really, you know, if you go around, look at yourself in the mirror, there's a lot going on in that white, you know, white of the eye. There's a lot going on in there. You can get away with a lot. So there, maybe take some of that gray and, you know, maybe you want to do the whole thing. This is a gray 4 or 3 or something like that. Faber-Castell, I really like their grays. Oh, it's a gray 2. It's a gray 2. I can press a little harder, huh? Yeah, let's get in there. I didn't want to churn up a black hole in the eye there. All right. You know, this works either way. Even when the eye is way away from you, you know, in the image, maybe you got this, like, you know, I don't have a representation close by, but you know, it's like not a portrait, but just an image of a person. Maybe they take up this much of the space and the eyes are kind of little dots, but still go in and church it up a little bit like this, because these values matter. There we go. So we darkened up some spots, got rid of all that white in the eye. Yeah. Don't be scared, you know. I'm probably gonna screw up, but don't be scared to come in with some. Let's do the eyelashes first. Don't be scared to come in with some of this black in some of these areas and kind of push it a little darker. Maybe right there. Right there, up in here. And forever, how long you want to sit there, you can just sit there and have some fun. But thanks for watching. That's how you do a blue eye.